This is going to be a video about street relics. The last remaining fire alarm.
It's a boot scraper.
Not everyone knows what these are. And here is the sandbox at Avenue Gabriel.
Boot scraper.
Old functional remains in these streets.
Boulevard du Montparnasse.
The sandbox at Avenue de Saxe.
Here you have a boot scraper.
An anti-urination protection. At the bottom, right down here. This is the Saint-Roch Church. This is the sandbox at the Place de la Reine-Astrid. On each side of the church door. Boot scraper. These. So here I found another one. The last one. As you walk these streets for a while, you start to see little details. Well, at least I am that sort of a person who look at and wonder about details. As I mentioned in some other video, I am really fascinated by old functional remains in these streets. Things that tell a story, but that aren't always used anymore. And if you don't really look for them, they'll pass you by. So this is going to be a video about street relics. Some kind of obvious, like these fountains here, and some smaller and more hidden and less known. After the Franco-Prussian War and the siege of Paris in 1870-71, the city was devastated, and clean drinking water was both a health concern and a sign of inequality. English philanthropist Sir Richard Wallace, living in Paris, decided to fund public fountains to offer free drinking water, especially for the poor. He commissioned sculptor Charles-Auguste Lebourg to create cast-iron fountains painted green to blend into parks, each topped by 4 female figures, caryatids, symbolizing kindness, simplicity, charity, and sobriety. They became part of the city's identity. Today, 151 remain, almost all green, except this one in Chinatown, in the 13th arrondissement. This kind of ornate cast-iron box was once in every street corner in Paris. Today, very few remain. In fact, I was told that there were only 5 left, so of course I set out to see if I could locate all 5. Not everyone knows what these are, these old sort of cast iron looking gravestones on the streets of Paris. But they are actually sandboxes, standing sandboxes. It's a relic from the time when there was about 80,000 horses in town. So they would work in the sense that up here you have a lid that you can see, where they would be filled up with sand, and then down here, at the bottom, right down here, there's another opening where you could let sand out and shovel it out over the street. The sandbox at Avenue de Saxe. The sand was spread in order to prevent the streets from being slippery. Today, it's hard to imagine how dirty Paris was back then, and just sprinkling sand on top of everything was a common practice. And here we have the sandbox at Avenue Gabriel. The decor of these boxes consists in oak leaves symbolizing strength and laurel leaves for victory. The 3 towers form a stylized city wall representing Paris as a fortified and independent city. And this is the sandbox at the Place de la Reine-Astrid. The sail ship represents the marchands de l'eau, the powerful medieval water merchants who once controlled the trade on the Seine. It symbolizes commerce and the city's river-based prosperity. At the top of the boxes are the Latin words fluctat nec mergitur, which translates to, "She is tossed by the waves but does not sink." This is the official motto of the city of Paris, and it dates back to the 14th century, or some say even the 13th. And this is the one at Avenue de Friedland. An interesting thing about this one is that I can hear the sound of something that sounds like a fan. This has actually been repurposed as a ventilator for the metro under here. So that's pretty smart. Nice, the fifth one, the last one, Avenue de Trudaine. So they're all still here, all five. In the 4th arrondissement, people walk by this piece of stone wall, not having a clue what it really is. I'm at Square Henri Galli in the 4th arrondissement. And this, unfortunately, I can't get through this fence here. But you see it pretty well that this right here behind me, this curved stone wall, is actually a piece of the Bastille prison. It's the base of the Tour de la Liberté, the Liberty Tower, from the fortress prison that became a symbol of the French Revolution. This fragment of one of the 8 original towers was placed here in 1899, shortly after it was discovered by the digging workers during the construction of Metro Line Number 1. In 1886, Paris introduced its first public fire alarms. In case of emergency, anyone could alert the nearest fire station by breaking the glass on the small panel at the top. This particular model, made in 1947, was the last of its kind to stand on the streets of Paris. With the rise of private telephones in the 1960s, these alarms became obsolete, and today there's just this one left. One of the last remaining fire alarms. The majority of Paris's forgotten street relics are connected to how dirty this town was, and today most of them are no longer needed. An example of this are the boot scrapers. From walking these streets, your boots would become so full of dirt and mostly horse manure that before you entered a building, you would scrape off the bottom of your boots. At one time, there were thousands of boot scrapers in Paris, and I was told that there were 9 still around. Boot scraper. And obviously, I went on a boot scraper mission. I was able to locate 6 of them, and I fear these are the only ones left. This is the Saint-Roch Church, right in the middle of the 1st arrondissement. It's very close to the Louvre. One little detail. On each side of the church door are the boot scrapers. So for balance, you could hold your hand or grip this grip right here, and then scrape your boot down here. So here I found another one at 118 Rue Monge. Boot scraper.
Here you have a boot scraper. Church the Saint-Sulpice. Boulevard du Montparnasse.
So this is the St. Louis Hospital. And what do we see right there? A relic.
It's a boot scraper.
Right next to the southern wall of La Santé prison on Boulevard Arago stands a rare survivor. There used to be between 1,500 and 2,000 of these cast iron toilets or urinals in Paris. And now there's this one left. Unfortunately, it's closed, so I can't try it. But one day, I'll be back to have a piss. These contraptions weren't mass-produced like the Vespasiennes, but were often installed locally by building owners or the city in spots where public urination was a persistent problem. The ancient wearing of this one at Impasse de Conti certainly suggests that it's been here for a long time. The people walking behind me are really thinking what the hell I'm filming down here in the corner. Paris was the first city in the world to organize public street lighting. In 1667, lanterns using candles were installed all across the city to improve nighttime safety. At Ile Saint-Louis, the very heart of the old city, the entire island is framed with a series of streetlights on cast iron lamp posts. These are some of the oldest streetlights in existence. Today, they are repurposed with electric installation. All the street relics mentioned in this video are listed with their addresses in the description, in case you'd like to visit them during your time in Paris.